Ahoj, tak všichni online?
Já jo.
Taky.
A ty, babi?
Babi?
Babi, musíš tam na to kliknout. Ne, na to
Babi,
druhý.
musíš tam na tu ikonku.
Sluchátko, babi.
Jeden svět, festival dokumentárních filmů o lidských právech. 10. května až 6. června Jeden svět.cz. Pořádá Člověk v tísni.
Ahoj a hezký večer všem divákům.
Good evening, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, our audience of the One World Festival. We've just seen Still Into You by Anu Kunvalainen and producer Marianne Mekele, whom I'm going to interview right now. I would like to remind you that One World is a international documentary film festival on human rights, and it's organized by people in need, and this is its 23rd edition. So now I will be talking to the director and the producer of Still Into You. You can join into the conversation and ask them using the Slido app or Facebook or YouTube. Hello, Anu. Hello, Marianne.
Hello. Hello. Hi.
Vlastně teď úplně nevím přesně na
I don't really know who I should ask first, but I'll try Marianne. After watching the film, I'm thinking that the generation that grew up in the 1960s is the current seniors. So they took part in the sexual revolution. Does it play a role in their current life? Is the current seniors' relation to sex and intimacy different compared to their parents or the previous generational seniors? Try to answer, Marianne, please.
Well, honestly, I'm born in the 80s, and with my parents, I didn't talk about these things, so I have no idea. But it must have been, because in general, the life and discussion about sexuality has developed a lot. And I think perhaps Anu can tell more, because sexuality was one of the reasons why she started to make this film.
I can try to answer too. Yes, I was born in 60s, in the middle of 60s, and the problem is that I don't really know either, because I didn't have a father, so I didn't see a sex life or love life of my parents at all. My mother and father was separated, but it must have affected the way because why I started to make this film is that when I turned to 50 years old, I started to think that, okay, I have been with my husband now more than 30 years together. And what will happen to our love life? What will happen to our sexuality in the future when we grow older? And these ideas were in my mind, and I was thinking a lot about them. And then I started to think that, okay, I have to talk to older people than I am and find out answers for these questions, and they were in my mind, but also your first question, I don't know the answer for that. No, I'm sorry. Marianne, do you want to go on?
That's okay, that's okay. I think we can just think about it. Actually, your motivation is very interesting to make this film. You wanted to know what was coming, what would happen to your relationship, what would happen to the people your age who are in a relationship for 30 years or so. Did you find an answer to this question during making this film? Did you have an epiphany or a moment or a realization?
Well, somehow I get a relief, because I was afraid to grow older, because I was thinking that I am losing my sexuality, I'm losing my love life, I'm losing everything funny in the relationship, intimate relationship, but that's not true. That's what I found out when I was making this film and living the life of the characters and talking with them. And also I interviewed more than 20, maybe 25 couples before I made this film. So I got the answer, and also what I learned was that if you are very sexual when you are a young person, you will be sexual also in older age. But if you are not very sexual as a young person, you won't be sexual in older age. That's obvious, but I didn't understand that before, which is kind of funny. But well, now I learned it.
But I think it's because growing old is a scary thing, but this perhaps relieves you from that scare.
No my vlastně ty takzvané babičky a dědečky.
The so-called grandmothers and grandfathers are usually associated with wisdom or kindness. But all these things I named, those are very non-sexual things. Why? Why is it like that?
Marianne, onko sun vastaus?
Well, I think this is actually, when we come to the discussion of kind of equality and how we see people in general, it's for some reason for us human beings, it's easier to put us in the boxes. And, you know, the older people, I don't think they are represented enough in current culture. So it has been easier to put them in the box of kind and wise or grumpy also. But for example, sexuality is a bit of a taboo, even though I hope that also comes through the film, that, you know, it's just physical appearance changes, but at the same time your mind and the kind of activity can be the same.
Yes, I was thinking that was the main reason I started to make this film, was that I wanted to show those people, those older people or senior people, as an active operators in their own life, not just grandparents and ill people and so on. To take them out from that box.
Well, it seems to me that you depicted seniors in a very different way than usually depicted, because usually it's wisdom, kindness, or grumpiness, but also often seniors are portrayed together with their family, with their grandchildren, dogs, and stuff. But here, they are on their own. They're on their own.
Yes.
It was, I think it came quite in the late stage of the film production, actually, that Anu was still thinking a couple that's in the poster, the Sirkka and Yki, who are laying in the bed, they are actively involved.
Grandparents.
They are grandparents, and they do, and we really thought about bringing in the children. But at some stage, was it as late?
Yes, we actually filmed one scene with the grandchildren, but it was obvious just after the scene that this is not in the film, that this is not in the themes we want to deal with.
And also for me, who I'm a single lady living in Finland on my own, and I feel it's really nice to also see these ladies who actually have found their life, and they actually love their life as it is. They don't need the relationship, even though it has benefits, but they are, so it kind of, that was a discussion we had, Manu.
Yes. Yes, that the relationship is not the only way to live your life, that you can also be by your own and be happy and full.
It's true that what you are showing is, how to put it, a lot of different ways of spending time and living your life, or a large number of ways or possibilities of spending time and living a life. And that's great. It's important to show that someone can have a relationship. For someone else, it's not so important. Someone else doesn't really want to look after their sick partner. I really like that diversity. However, we were talking about loneliness and the fact that the seniors are shown alone or on their own in the film. That brings me to a question about the coronavirus pandemic, because that made us pay a lot of attention to senior citizens, elderly people. And a lot of us found out that we are concentrating on people about whom we don't know very much, and we don't pay much attention to them. How do you perceive it, Anu?
Apua. Marianne, help me.
Okay.
Start. I can go on.
It's. Well, it's a tough question in a way, because I think in coronavirus or this COVID situation has actually brought in several things kind of problematic things visible. So one of them, for example, is the older citizens. It's we don't have a proper relationship. Okay, we have talked about this elder people's loneliness, but now it kind of really like came to our faces. But at the same time, you know, during this COVID time, I think all the problematics in a society, for example, with families with small children, and they are just coming out. So all the problems we had already are now kind of like lifted up or upgraded in a level. I don't know what to say to that, but it's eye-opening in a way. Yeah.
I'm just thinking all the time that in the time we were making a film, it wasn't in my mind a lot, the loneliness of older people. We didn't see that either. We didn't talk about that because our characters, they are not lonely ones.
Not even the single ones, they are not lonely.
No, they are not lonely ones. We didn't see that, and we didn't see that as a problem that time. But now the eyes are opened for that problem. And
of course, I think the discussion of the film, you need to also kind of focus in the list.
Yeah.
And
we focused on active
persons. Films that have which kind of tackle the problematics of lonely elder people.
That's true.
Já připomínám, že se samozřejmě můžete
I will just remind you that the audience can join our discussion through Slido, YouTube or Facebook. And we now have the first question from the audience, Anu and Marianne. The question is, when you reach the age of your protagonist, what sort of life would you like? Marianne, can you start?
Whoa. That's a good question. And especially now when you mentioned the COVID earlier, I think it's harder to think about the future or the years to come. I must say, I think this film and the process of making it made me really hopeful. It made me kind of actually wait for the old age, in that sense that no matter am I in a relationship or am I on my own, I can be happy and active. And I think that is what I'm aiming at. I really related to Ritva Oksanen, the singer in the film. We are nowadays friends. She's a friend of mine, so I have double my age is a person is my friend, and that is something. She has had a marriage and she has kids, but she's still happy on her own. So that is perhaps what I'm aiming at, to be happy whatever the future brings to me.
I must say that I want to work in the film industry that time. I want to direct, even though I'm close to 80 years old, and of course I'm waiting for to get old with my husband, who I still love and I'm still in love with, but also I want to work. I don't see myself that I don't know what is it to be related, and I can see that to be possible in my life.
We both idolize Ritva in that sense, because she also...
Yeah, that's true. She's working lady. Waiting to have concerts next autumn, actually.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, after COVID.
Ještě napadá, že bych se tady vrátila k věci, kterou říkala Marianne.
Come back to what Marianne said in the beginning. Marianne, you said that with your parents you never spoke about sexuality or intimity. Was it hard for you to speak with the seniors during the shoot about sexuality, which is kind of taboo, at least in the Czech Republic? Was it hard to talk to them about sex?
Well,
No, mä tein sen. Ehkä mun pitää
that is a question for Anu, actually, because I only met couple of the I'm not the person to talk. I'm the producer, so I don't talk so much about I talk about the what.
Yeah, I can answer for I can answer for that question because I supposed that it would be really hard. That people for that generation, they are not used to talking about their love life and sexuality. But surprisingly, I was always with them. We drank a cup of coffee and something. And during the second cup of coffee, I had to ask, do you still have some sex life in your relationship? And quite often the answer was yes, we do. And it was surprising. It was really surprising how easy it was for them to talk about their love life. And for Daya, this widow, we really talked a lot and shared our experiences. And she was telling about her relationships before and with her husband, a lot intimate stuff. And of course, I didn't use everything in the film because I had to look after what I put out. But it was surprisingly easy.
And
when you say, Anu, that you had to be careful what to put on the movie and what to take out, I have another question from our audience. Somebody is asking, did you have other stories that you wanted to use in the film but had to give them up? And maybe now you're sorry that you didn't put all the forms of love of seniors in the film?
No, I didn't. These were the only persons I filmed. And I did a big research. I was looking for the right persons for I think 2 years. So as I told you before, I interviewed something like 25 couples and widows, and it's always a big job for the director to find right persons in the film, because that's what the film comes out. That you have a person whose history and story fits into your idea and subject and themes, and also who has strong presence, even though I didn't know beforehand if they are good with the camera, but somehow you know it always how the person is with you, how she talks or he talks, and is there gestures in the face and all that stuff. Yeah.
I think when I came along, I think you already hadn't talked with Sirkka and Yki and Raija.
The widow and the young couple, or new couple, let's say.
And Ahti and Paavo, you had also the male
gay couple.
You had
yes,
in touch. But then we looked for quite a long time because we knew that it has a meaning, because one of the things is that you need to separate due to a illness, or like in this case,
so the person who was taking care of the partner, and
yes,
nursing a partner.
Exactly, this relationship. So that we were looking for quite a long time, and we found it in a quite late stage. And then
last spring I was shooting. We found Risto and Pirjo.
And Ritva Oksanen, the singer, came also in a later stage when we were thinking about these songs, and we were thinking that we want to have a person. So we ended up searching with Anu. We went to concerts, and then we went to Ritva's concert, and that she became something else than just a singer. That was totally during the production. So when
that's true. It was just because we just noticed how beautiful person she is on whole, and we wanted to have her independence and everything, working lady in the film.
So no regrets.
No.
Anu, you said that for 2 years you were looking for the perfect protagonist for your film that we saw in the film. Can you tell us more about what the search looked like? You said a bit about it. Can you tell us more? What was the beginning, except your motivation? How did the search go? How did it progress?
Well, it always goes the way that I just talk a lot, and that I'm making this kind of film. I'm telling to everybody that I'm working with this subject, and do you know everybody I should meet, and also I contacted old people's visited many sheltered homes looking for these special couples, and also I contacted different organizations, and then there was this dancing hall actually in Helsinki, which is also in the film, and it was very successfully placed because I found many couples from there. I spread my letter about the film to the people going there, and then they contacted me, but it was a big job.
Yeah, and I think did you have some adverts also in some of these?
Yes, but they didn't work at all.
To jsem si přesně říkala, jestli
That's exactly what I thought. Whether you used respondents or protagonists through some sort of open call. You say, hi, we want to make a film about you. No, okay. There's an interesting question from the audience. Do you believe that how you show the lives of seniors in your film is applicable in general outside Finland, or are the seniors in Finland specific in any way?
Mitäs tämä kysymys? Marianne, what is this in Finnish?
Elikkä siis onko niin kuin, että onko tämä vaan niin kuin, että onko tällaisia niin kuin suomalaiset seniorit vai
okay.
Yleismaailmallista? I would say that probably, of course, there's cultural things, of course, but then again, I think in the universal level is the kind of the tenderness and the you know, becoming a friend and taking care of each other, and of course it also, you know, it depends of the society. I think it in, you know, perhaps Ritva's kind of a artistic working lady can't be everywhere, but definitely there are other countries than Finland also. And then again, I know I've seen a film, for example, about in a South Korean film, a documentary that had a old couple that loved each other and took care of that. There's a different tone, perhaps, but still there is this caring, and that's universal.
Yes, very universal. I think what might be different in Finland is which is very, very concrete thing for the filmmaker when I undressed these people, because we have this sauna culture here in Finland. It's not an issue for anybody to undress. So that was maybe easier to make a film that kind of film in Finland for that reason. But
yeah, and it's not like, it doesn't come a topic that's like, you know, it's not too much sexualized in that sense, or it's not like, oh, drama, people are naked. It's kind of normal when you make it in Finland.
Yeah.
We did have discussions during the development of this, that, you know, okay, you have this people, they are quite bare. Are you okay with this? This is a bit strange. So, yeah. But I think Anu succeeded in that it doesn't come out as something strange or something, but it's natural.
It's nice to hear about that. If audience want to comment for that point, how do you see it?
To je vlastně docela zajímavá paralela s tou saunovou kulturou.
Yeah, the sauna culture, that's a nice parallel when you talk about it, Marianne, yes.
Že by mě to vlastně nenapadlo dát dohromady, protože
that's something I wouldn't think of, you know, linking these two things, because the film does feel very natural. Okay, another question from the audience. Thank you for involving a gay couple. In this country, until recently, nobody talked about LGBTQ aging couples. What is their situation in Finland? Are they accepted?
I would say yes.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Of course, we are in a happy situation that we got the equal marriage law. Just when was it, 2 or 3 years ago? So in that sense, yes. of course, but I think there's still
It's
people
up to
are
which
struggling with that.
also which part of Finland you are. It affects. I mean,
yeah, especially if you go. Both live in Helsinki. It's easier. If you go outside Helsinki to smaller towns, of course, it's more difficult. At the moment, we are. There's a huge discussion about the trans rights,
law.
trans, and it's and we do have quite, let's say, old-fashioned law concerning that. So we are not there yet. There's a lot of work to be done. But I think the one thing with Anu's film is that, you know, we wanted to show the couple as one of the couples.
Yeah.
And actually, they're most the like conservative couple of all of these.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, you know, breaking the kind of populistic gay image.
Ty jsi mluvila, Marianne, před chvilkou.
Marianne, a little while ago you mentioned that you have this old-fashioned law in Finland concerning trans persons. What exactly does it mean, old-fashioned?
Well, yeah, that was a stupid term. I'm sorry. My English isn't perhaps the best yet to kind of talk about this. Well, for example, when we compare to our next door neighbor, Sweden, you are able to, determine your sexuality. You need to. We just gave up. I think that it's not considered a disease anymore, but you still need to go to. Well, officially, you can only be a female or man, which means that, you know, unless you go through all these doctor's appointments and all this transformation, you still have like a wrong status in your legal papers, which can end up into the situation. For example, I think this is a simple example that if you get ticket inspection in the public transport, and your ID says that you're a man, but you look like a woman, and then you're in a situation that you need to explain what is going on. So you can't determine your sex according to that. So yes, I think it's old-fashioned. I know this is how in many countries it is. Many countries still it is, but I think Finland is now finding the big discussion is that you can determine your own sexual sex, gender is the right.
Gender, yeah.
There's an interesting question from the audience. What did you feel like when you were shooting the intimate scenes? Didn't you feel like you weren't supposed to be there, Anu?
That I wasn't supposed to be there, or? Repeat the question, please.
If you were shooting, did you feel out of place when shooting the intimate scenes?
Koitko vaivaantuneeksi siitä?
Niin, mä ymmärrän. Yeah, no, I didn't because I think it's always very important that the person I'm filming is understanding what is my game, what I'm aiming to, what do I want out of her or him, and when they are safe, they feel safe. When they trust me, they feel safe, and then there's no problem. I didn't feel what was the word? Vaivaantunut.
Uncomfortable.
No, uncomfortable. No, I didn't feel any uncomfortable.
I looked at a research from a student at the Charles University in Prague, and she did a research on sexuality of seniors in the Czech Republic. It was people 60 years plus, And she found out that during her research, 53% male seniors and 34% women over 60 had a sex life. I don't think it's that much. Do you think what the situation may be in Finland? Is it any better, Marianne?
I don't actually know the statistics on that.
Me neither.
We haven't researched the statistic. I think, and it's interesting, of course, this gender division also. I think it comes to the fact what Anu told about the that, you know, if you are sexual, also, of course, society affects on your sexuality. But anyway, if you're a sexual person, you probably have that even in the old age. I don't think that Finns are more sexual than other countries. So probably could be in the same line, but I really don't know.
Me neither. No.
Součástí toho filmu bylo vlastně i odcházení.
A part of the film was the departure of one of the protagonists to whom you dedicated the film. What was it like to shoot this? What was it like to experience this? Anu.
Siis on kuolema.
Joo, Pirjo, joo.
Joo. It was hard. It was hard because it was also surprising. Pirjo has moved to this old people's home and she stayed there only a few months or something, and then he fall down. It was an accidental thing, and it was really fast happening. It was really surprising and fast when it happened. It was Monday morning when Risto was calling me. I was here at the summer cottage where I am now, and this is 700 kilometers from the place where they live. And Risto called me very, very, very sad that Pirjo fell down and she will live couple of days, come here very quickly. And so I jumped to my car and drove to the town he lived, and we started to, and with the cameraman and camera soundman, and we started to shoot the scene. And well, it was really sad because it was so surprising. It was hard, yes, of course. Yeah.
But I think in a way that tells about the relationship that Anu makes with the characters, because Risto called her.
Yeah, that's true.
Happening.
Yeah.
To vlastně asi svědčí o tom, že máte docela.
I guess it documents you have very close relationship with your protagonists, right? They're very close.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Anu still needs to go for coffee a lot.
Yeah, yes. Of course, when you make film out of somebody's intimate life, you can't just leave him or her after filming. I mean, I made some film more than 20 years ago, and I'm still in relationship with those characters because it was also very, very, very deep about their life. And I think this film will last also as long as my protagonist will be alive. I will be with them. So it may be.
And
yes.
I'm just hoping to COVID go away, because I also and I want to go when they open the theaters and cinemas. I want to go with my friend Ritva to see some culture.
That's true.
To by mě vlastně přesně zajímalo.
I would really like to ask about this. I don't know during the pandemic, but in the Czech Republic, almost all movie theaters were closed down for a very long time. But did you have the chance to do a screening, maybe for seniors anywhere? How do seniors react to this film?
Well, we had one screening for our protagonist, and there was other people too, and it was with the audience. So it was really important for them to see the film in the big scene and yeah.
Unfortunately, at the time when we went to the Finnish theaters, it was
yes, old people didn't.
Older people in cinemas, which is understandable. We did have cinemas open, but unfortunately, the dream of us getting the older people to cinemas didn't happen. Luckily, one city in the capital city area bought for their these old people centers. They bought a possibility to watch it in the old people's home. So there has been that. And we got amazing audience numbers when the film actually came out on YLE, which is the public broadcaster in Finland. So
from television, this generation watched television.
Yeah.
So they saw the film there.
But we didn't have the proper, where Anu could talk to the people and, that kind of, unfortunately not.
A chystáte třeba něco takového do budoucna?
Are you planning anything like that in the future?
Hopefully, it will be wonderful when things get. But we need to. I think the film is timeless, so we can do. It doesn't, wear off in years. So I really hope we can do. We even had an idea of this
bringing
a dating evening for older people with the film, that you could go on a date to see the film. And we had one cinema on board. Unfortunately, then COVID came and then it didn't happen, but perhaps we could do that.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anu, ty se vlastně obecně zaměřuješ na
Anu, in general,
příběhy. Čemu se
you focus on human stories. What are you planning to do after this film?
No, nothing happens in this COVID time. You don't get any ideas, or they don't go farther because you can't see anybody, you can't film anybody, you can't go anywhere. Actually, I'm doing with the group of directors at the moment the film about the COVID time in Finland. That's the only thing I can do now at the moment. But planning something new, but we have to put our heads together with Marianne and find out a new theme.
Yeah, it's not a creative time, because especially documentary comes from real life, and
that's true.
You're not in connection in real life. It's
complicated.
It's complicated, yeah.
Pravděpodobně teď jeden asi z posledních dotazů.
Probably one of the last questions now. I will pick a question from the audience. Do you know the term inspirational porn? That's used to describe people with disabilities in very nice ways. Is that something that you had to struggle with, Marianne?
What was the term?
Inspirační porno.
Inspirational porn.
No.
Pornography, inspirational pornography.
Yeah, I don't know the term and I don't know how, well.
Zkrátka, asi bych to řekla tak, že
let's say that
pozitivně, nebo ne, třeba jenom
the description of people is much too positive.
Vykreslujete nějakého člověka,
description of someone, a very nice grandpa, a really lovely nice grandma, someone with disabilities. You're milking the audience for tears, basically.
I'm not sure do I get this, but you need. You mean in this film? Did we were we milking tears, or is there a term as inspirational?
Myslím si, že to je myšlené naopak. Myslím si, že
no, I think the other way around.
Jak jste se dokázali vyhnout?
How did you manage to avoid that?
Řekněme vyděračsky, jestli se to dá takhle.
That's Anu's question. I have no idea.
Just put it for me in Finnish. The question, Marianne.
Miten sä pystyit välttämään sen, että siitä ei tullut sellaista niin kuin ehkä jollain tavalla, täytyy tarkistaa vielä kohta, mutta pateettista, tai että miten sä et niinku vaan, niinku, että siitä ei tullut tällaista tunnepornoa, jolla niinku nyhdetään kyyneliä. Miten sä vältit tämän?
Well, I had a good
joudutko
editor.
Taistelemaan sen kanssa?
No, I had a good editor also. I mean, it's what happening in editing table. It's a lot. And if you can use the huge amount of material to make something just everybody to cry or porn or whatever you want to. But if you decide not to do that, it's very easy and possible in the editing table. You just choose what you want to say.
Honestly, I also have to say that Anu is a kind of a director she's experienced and she knows what she's getting. I think, I don't know, did you start with the film era or how this, but you know what you go to film?
Yes, I start with the film.
So you need to choose what you're filming.
Yeah.
And there wasn't that much extra material in the the editing phase.
No.
So
but even though you can do anything,
that soppy, pathetic kind of, tears.
But it's a choice. It's a choice. Choice of the director.
Tak to jsem moc ráda vlastně, že si udělala takovouhle volbu.
I'm really happy that you made that particular choice, because I think the film is wonderful and I look forward to showing it to my grandparents or my parents. Thank you very much for finding time for an interview for One World. Anu Kuivalainen and Marianne Mäkelä, the producer of Still Into You. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Can we leave now?